this video, we delve into a thought-provoking discussion, one that challenges the societal norms of marriage, parenthood, and the conventional paths we're often expected to tread. Dr. Jordan Peterson presents a perspective that seems to echo the age-old belief. To grow old with a partner to nurture children is the quintessential human experience. He argues, somewhat controversially, that those who deviate from this path are either deluded or immature, citing the unbroken lineage of reproduction that traces back 3.5 billion years. But is this viewpoint truly reflective of the complexities of human choice and the diverse tapestry of life? Consider the lives of historical figures like Isaac Newton, Ludwig von Beethoven, Leonardo da Vinci, and Jane Austen. These individuals, who chose not to reproduce, contributed immensely to our world. Does their choice make them deluded or immature? Or does it simply illustrate that life's journey is not a one-size-fits-all narrative? This brings to mind a poignant quote from the Stoic philosopher Seneca: "Life, if well lived, is long enough." It's a reminder that the quality of our lives is not solely defined by societal benchmarks like marriage or parenthood. I'm not here to argue against the joys of family life or the bonds of marriage. Rather, I'm advocating for a deeper understanding and respect for individual choices. It's about questioning the should-haves, should-bes, and should-dos that often stem from questionable arguments and societal pressures. It's about recognizing that authority figures, no matter how well-intentioned, do not hold the definitive blueprint for everyone's life. So what happens when we step off the beaten path? When we embrace a life that may not include marriage, children, or other societal expectations? This exploration isn't just about challenging norms, it's about understanding the essence of our existence and the freedom to choose our paths. As Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic philosopher, wisely stated, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." In context, it's about being true to oneself, rather than conforming to external expectations. Let's embark on this journey of exploration, understanding the nature of social norms and the beauty of living life on our own terms. One, social norms, those unwritten rules that govern our behaviors, are like an invisible software installed in our minds by society. They shape our actions and decisions, often without us even realizing it. These norms dictate a wide range of behaviors, from basic manners like not slapping strangers and expressing gratitude for gifts, to more significant life choices such as the expectation to marry and have children. These societal expectations are deeply ingrained in our cultures and influence what we believe we should have, be, and do. However, adherence to these norms is not always a path to fulfillment or happiness. When someone deviates from these societal expectations, they are often viewed as an outsider or even a threat. But is conforming to these norms always the best course of action? Consider the expectation of having children. While procreation is a natural process, the choice to have or not have children is also natural and should be respected as such. Despite changing times, the pressure to follow a traditional path, find a partner, get married, and have children remains strong in many societies. This pressure varies across different cultures and religious groups. For instance, marriage rates in the Netherlands are lower compared to a country like Indonesia. Similarly, atheists may marry less frequently than Muslims. Yet, the norm of having children persists as a widely accepted and expected life milestone. In the midst of these societal pressures, it's essential to remember the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus: "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This quote reminds us of the importance of listening to our inner voice and understanding our true desires, rather than simply following societal norms. In today's fast-paced world where individuality and personal happiness are increasingly valued, it's important to question and reflect on these societal norms. Are they in line with your personal values and desires? Do they contribute to your sense of fulfillment and happiness? If not, it might be time to consider a path less traveled, one that aligns more closely with your personal beliefs and life goals. While societal norms can guide us, they should not dictate our life choices. Each individual must evaluate these norms in the context of their own life and decide what is truly best for them. It's about finding a balance between societal expectations and personal happiness, and sometimes that means walking away from marriage, children, and other supposed life milestones. Remember, the path to fulfillment is not one size fits all. It's as unique as each individual who walks it. Tudor, or in the aftermath of the Second World War, a time when the world was rebuilding and reshaping itself, the societal norms and expectations around family life were starkly different from what we might encounter today. This period, marked by the experiences of my grandparents, serves as a poignant backdrop to explore the complex and often personal decision of whether to have children. During this era, the concept of family was deeply intertwined with societal and religious expectations. It was a time when the local pastor, akin to a moral compass of the community, would make annual visits to families, inquiring about the arrival of new children. This practice, reminiscent of the influence of figures like Jordan Peterson in more recent times, was not just a mere check-in, but carried with it a subtle, yet powerful form of persuasion. My grandmother, a devout Christian, found herself particularly susceptible to this societal pressure. The notion of being labeled a bad Christian if she chose not to have children was a formidable deterrent, leading her to eventually embrace motherhood on a grand scale, giving birth to 11 children. This decision, influenced by the societal norms of her time, resulted in a large family tree, including myself. But the question arises, is having children inherently superior to choosing a child-free life? To explore this, let's consider the story of Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor. Aurelius, despite his immense responsibilities and the philosophical leanings that might have inclined him towards a simpler life, embraced fatherhood. His choice to have children, however, was not a blind following of societal norms, but a considered decision that aligned with his personal values and the duties he perceived as important. This historical perspective leads us to a broader understanding of the choices we face in modern times. In today's fast-paced, often individualistic society, the decision to walk away from traditional paths such as marriage and parenthood is not only more accepted but also celebrated as an expression of personal freedom and self-discovery. The societal shift from the post-war era to the present day reflects a growing recognition of the diversity in personal choices and lifestyles. However, this evolution in societal norms does not necessarily make the decision any easier. Each path, whether it involves having children, pursuing a career, or dedicating oneself to a cause, comes with its own set of challenges and rewards. The key lies in understanding that there is no one-size-fits-all answer. What matters most is the alignment of one's choices with their personal values and beliefs, a core tenet of Stoic philosophy. The journey of life is not about conforming to prescribed societal roles, but about finding one's own path, guided by personal values and a deep understanding of oneself. Whether one chooses to have children, pursue a career, or follow a different path altogether, the most important lesson is to make these decisions consciously and authentically. As we navigate through the complexities of modern life, let us remember the wisdom of the Stoics. That true fulfillment comes from living in accordance with our nature and values, regardless of societal expectations. This lesson, timeless in its relevance, offers a beacon of guidance for anyone seeking to improve their life and find genuine contentment in their choices. Third, in the aftermath of the war, when the world was focused on rebuilding and expanding the population, having a large family was seen as a commendable achievement. 11 children, for instance, were not just a symbol of prosperity, but also a practical asset. This was a time when economic considerations were paramount. More children meant more hands to contribute to the family's income. Reflecting on my own family history, my grandparents, driven by necessity, sent my uncles to work in factories at a tender age. While such practices have thankfully become obsolete in the West, the underlying functionality of having children persists in a different form. Today, it's less about economic contribution and more about emotional support and companionship. This shift is evident in the common warnings we hear. You'll end up alone and miserable, or what will you do when you're 60 with no children to visit you? These statements reflect a deep-seated belief in the benefits of having children. They are expected to take care of us, keep us company, and perpetuate family traditions. But let's pause and consider this from a Stoic perspective. Stoicism teaches us to question societal norms and expectations, urging us to find contentment and purpose within ourselves rather than in external circumstances. As Marcus Aurelius, a renowned Stoic philosopher, once said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself and your way of thinking." This wisdom challenges the conventional narrative that fulfillment comes from following a prescribed life path, such as marriage and parenthood. Imagine a life where you're not bound by these societal expectations, a life where your worth isn't measured by your marital status or by the number of children you have. Instead, you find joy and purpose in your personal growth, in your contributions to society, and in the connections you forge with those around you. This is the essence of Stoicism, finding strength and serenity within oneself, regardless of external circumstances. In this journey of life, it's crucial to remember that happiness and fulfillment are not one-size-fits-all. What brings joy to one person may not necessarily bring joy to another. The Stoics believed in embracing our individual paths, in being true to ourselves, and in finding contentment in our choices, irrespective of societal norms. As Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, aptly put it, "If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable." This means that understanding and pursuing our own unique life goals is more important than adhering to societal expectations. While the traditional view of family and children as a source of economic and emotional support has its roots in history, it's essential to question whether these norms align with our personal values and aspirations. As Stoics, we are encouraged to find our own path, to seek happiness within, and to live a life that is true to ourselves. Remember, it's not about walking away from marriage, children, or societal expectations. It's about walking towards a life that resonates with your innermost beliefs and values. Oisar, but what about the downsides? One downside people don't like talking about is the suffering that comes with bringing people into existence. Epictetus once remarked, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This perspective invites us to scrutinize the unspoken contract of existence that our children are thrust into, without their consent. Consider the child, an unwitting participant in life's grand scheme, who inherits a world replete with challenges, including the potential for a life marred by depression and addiction. This reality poses a stark question. Are we, as parents, inadvertently prioritizing our happiness over the potential suffering of our offspring? The pursuit of parental joy, while natural, might inadvertently overlook the complex, often harsh realities our children may face. Moreover, the anticipated joys of parenthood do not always materialize as envisioned. Picture the individual at the twilight of their years, surrounded by the silence of a home that rarely echoes with the laughter of visiting children. This scenario presents a dual sorrow: the absence of children's presence, akin to those who never had them, and the poignant realization of their existence yet their absence in one's life. The philosophy of antinatalism pushes this contemplation further, positing that the act of bringing children into the world is in itself a conduit to inevitable suffering. From this vantage point, the ultimate act of empathy might well be the decision not to procreate, thereby shielding potential beings from the inherent pains of existence. This notion aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on what we can control, in this case, the choice to refrain from introducing another life into a world fraught with uncertainties and challenges. In our modern lives, where the pursuit of personal fulfillment often intersects with societal norms, these reflections offer a poignant reminder of the weight of our choices. They encourage a deeper introspection into the motivations and implications of our decisions, particularly those as significant as marriage and parenthood. As we navigate these choices, it's crucial to balance our desires with a mindful consideration of their broader impact, both on our lives and on those we bring into this world. In essence, this contemplation is not a directive but an invitation to ponder deeply on the profound responsibilities and potential consequences of our life choices. It's a call to align our actions with a broader understanding of their ripple effects, guided by the wisdom of both contemporary insights and timeless Stoic philosophy. Demond Fiber. In our journey through life, we often encounter societal expectations that shape our decisions, such as the perceived necessity of marriage and having children. However, it's crucial to recognize that these paths may not align with everyone's aspirations or circumstances. This concept is vividly illustrated through the story of a hypothetical grandmother who, if she had harbored dreams of being a war correspondent, would have found her ambitions incompatible with the responsibilities of raising 11 children. This example underscores the importance of acknowledging personal goals and limitations when considering parenthood. Parenthood, undeniably a profound responsibility, may not be suitable for everyone. Individuals grappling with mental health issues or addiction, for instance, might find the demands of raising children overwhelming. This perspective challenges the conventional belief that having children is invariably a fulfilling experience. It's essential to consider one's mental and emotional capacity for parenting, as the well-being of both the parent and the child is paramount. Moreover, the societal expectation that happiness is intrinsically linked to having children and being in a relationship is increasingly being questioned. Contrary to the common fear of ending up alone and miserable, research indicates that childless individuals often experience higher levels of happiness. A study conducted in 2022 revealed that many people find single life appealing due to the freedom it affords them in terms of time, personal goals, and autonomy. This finding is a testament to the diverse paths to fulfillment and happiness that exist beyond traditional family structures. The Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes living in harmony with one's true nature, offers valuable insights into this discussion. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our control and to pursue a life that aligns with our inner values and capabilities. In the context of deciding whether to have children or marry, this philosophy encourages a thoughtful evaluation of one's desires, limitations, and the potential impact of such decisions on one's life and the lives of others. Now consider the tale of the ancient philosopher Diogenes, who chose a life of simplicity and independence over societal norms. Diogenes' choice to live in accordance with his own values, despite societal expectations, mirrors the decision to forego traditional paths like marriage and parenthood when they don't align with one's personal journey. In conclusion, the decision to walk away from societal expectations like marriage and parenthood is a deeply personal one that should be made based on individual circumstances, aspirations, and capacities. As we navigate these choices, it's important to remember that happiness and fulfillment can be found in various forms of life. The Stoic approach of aligning our choices with our true nature can guide us in making decisions that lead to a more authentic and satisfying life. For those contemplating these paths, the advice is to introspect deeply, consider the impact of your choices, and remember that your happiness and well-being are paramount in charting the course of your life. 6. Indeed, we often encounter the loud echoes of societal expectations urging us to conform to a set of predefined norms. But is it always wise to follow the crowd? Consider the modern obsession with social media status and the pursuit of material symbols like grand houses and luxury cars. Does the popularity of these trends truly enhance our well-being? The answer is not as straightforward as it seems. Just because a behavior is common doesn't inherently make it beneficial. This critical perspective challenges the notion that societal norms are universally advantageous. Let's delve deeper into this. Society often dictates milestones and life choices. Marriage, starting a family, the expectation to have children. These are seen as markers of maturity and fulfillment. But are they universally applicable? Must everyone's life script follow these exact lines? The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." In the context of societal norms, this suggests the importance of listening to our inner voice and wisdom, rather than being swayed by the cacophony of societal expectations. The truth is, some individuals find their true calling in walking a path less trodden, one that diverges from these societal blueprints. This isn't a rebellion for the sake of rebellion, but a conscious choice to seek what genuinely resonates with their inner self. It's about questioning whether these societal must-haves align with one's personal values and aspirations. For instance, the decision not to have children or to remain unmarried shouldn't be viewed through a lens of immaturity or delusion. Instead, it's a legitimate choice that deserves respect and understanding. This perspective is not about outright rejection of societal norms, but about thoughtful discernment. It's about recognizing that while certain paths work for the majority, they may not be the best for everyone, and certainly those who choose differently shouldn't face shame or ridicule. It's a call to embrace diversity in life choices, acknowledging that each individual's journey is unique. In the words of Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This powerful statement underscores the essence of our discussion. It's not about the external milestones or societal checkboxes. It's about the internal journey, the power of choice, and the strength that comes from aligning our lives with our true selves. In conclusion, as we navigate the complex tapestry of life, let us remember that the societal norms are not one-size-fits-all. It's about finding what truly matters to us, what aligns with our inner values, and having the courage to pursue that path, even if it means walking away from the conventional. In doing so, we not only honor our authenticity but also contribute to a more diverse, understanding, and compassionate world. 7. Indeed, we created a fork for the specific purpose of eating, just as we designed a house for the purpose of providing us shelter. Fulfilled life. Is this the only path to fulfillment? Or is there more to our existence than adhering to these societal constructs? Consider the fork, a simple yet purposeful invention designed for eating. Similarly, houses provide shelter, fulfilling their intended function. Humanity has excelled in creating objects that serve specific purposes. However, when we apply this concept to our lives, the waters become murkier. Is there an innate purpose to our existence, akin to that of a fork or a house? Are we destined for marriage, procreation, and a predefined set of achievements? When people assert that our existence is to fulfill certain roles, to reproduce, to be happy, to live well and be kind, it raises a critical question. How can one be so certain of the human purpose? This debate has perplexed philosophers for millennia, yet some seem to have a definitive answer. It's a bold claim, indeed. Religion, too, contributes its perspective, suggesting purposes like serving or honoring a divine entity, or transcending the cycle of rebirth. These beliefs imply a preordained mission in life. However, French existentialist philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre challenged this notion. He argued that existence precedes essence. We are born without a predetermined purpose, like blank canvases awaiting our unique imprint. According to Sartre, our lives are not pre-designed for specific roles. Rather, we define our essence through our choices and actions. This existentialist view clashes with the idea of what we are supposed to do. Marriage, for instance, is often seen as a societal obligation. But from Sartre's perspective, marriage is a choice, a way to add substance to one's life, not a mandatory step in the human journey. This viewpoint liberates us from the shackles of societal expectations, allowing us to view our lives as open canvases, ready to be painted as we see fit. In this context, let's consider a Stoic perspective as echoed by Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This wisdom aligns with the idea of shaping our lives based on personal choices rather than societal dictates. It emphasizes the power of individual agency in crafting a life that resonates with one's values and beliefs. Thus, we are encouraged to question and, if necessary, deviate from societal norms. Our lives are our own to define, free from the constraints of conventional paths. Whether it's choosing not to marry, not to have children, or to pursue a path less traveled, these decisions are valid and worthy. They reflect the essence of our being, shaped not by societal expectations but by our personal choices and convictions. In the modern world, where the hustle and bustle often drown out our inner voices, it's crucial to reconnect with our true selves. We must ask ourselves, are we living a life that's true to our essence, or are we merely conforming to societal expectations? The answer lies within us, and it's our responsibility to seek it out and live authentically, guided by our values and choices. Life is not a one-size-fits-all journey. It's a personal voyage filled with choices that define our essence. As we navigate through life's complexities, let's remember that we are the artists of our own existence, free to paint our canvases as we see fit, unbound by societal norms and expectations. Think, Kate, in a world where societal norms often dictate our choices, it's crucial to ponder, what if I chose a different path? This contemplation becomes particularly poignant when considering life's significant milestones like marriage and parenthood. Many adhere to these conventions not out of obligation but because they genuinely yearn for the experiences they bring. The allure of a lifelong partnership, the joy of family holidays, the excitement of children's birthday parties, and the pride of cheering for them at soccer games are genuine desires for many. These traditions, while conventional, are not inherently negative. They offer a sense of belonging and fulfillment to those who genuinely seek them. However, it's essential to recognize that these paths are not one-size-fits-all. Just as a painter chooses colors and strokes to create a unique masterpiece, individuals must select the elements that best represent their authentic selves in the tapestry of life. The Stoics, ancient philosophers known for their practical wisdom, emphasized living in accordance with one's nature. They believed in pursuing what truly resonates with one's inner self, rather than blindly following societal expectations. Consider the story of Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism. After a shipwreck left him destitute, he stumbled upon a bookshop and discovered Socrates' teachings. This pivotal moment led him to abandon his previous life's path and delve into philosophy. Zeno's journey illustrates the transformative power of embracing one's true calling, even when it deviates from societal norms. Similarly, in modern times, we encounter individuals who find fulfillment in unconventional lifestyles. Some may choose to forego marriage or parenthood, finding contentment in solitude, career, travel, or other passions. These choices, though divergent from societal expectations, are equally valid and can lead to a profound sense of personal fulfillment. The key lesson here is the importance of introspection and authenticity. It's about asking oneself, what truly makes me happy rather than, what am I supposed to do? By doing so, one can craft a life that is not only fulfilling, but also true to one's essence. This approach aligns with the Stoic principle of living in harmony with one's nature, leading to a more meaningful and contented existence. In conclusion, while embracing conventional life paths like marriage and parenthood can be deeply fulfilling for many, it's crucial to remember that these are not the only routes to a meaningful life. As we navigate through life's choices, let us be guided by our true desires and inclinations, rather than societal expectations. By doing so, we can create a life that is not only authentic but also rich in personal satisfaction and growth. This is the essence of living a Stoic life, a life where personal fulfillment and authenticity reign supreme. 9. In our journey through life, we often encounter crossroads where we must choose between the well-trodden path of societal expectations and the less traveled road of personal intuition and nonconformity. This choice is deeply personal and varies from individual to individual. For some, embracing the conventional milestones of marriage and family is a source of profound fulfillment. However, there exists a group among us, the unfitted, for whom these societal norms do not resonate. They are the ones who, either by choice or by their very nature, find themselves diverging from the expected path. Ralph Waldo Emerson, the renowned American philosopher, serves as a quintessential example of such an individual. His philosophy is a clarion call to nonconformity, urging us to break free from the shackles of societal expectations. Emerson championed the idea that societal norms often stifle individual freedom and do not necessarily align with one's personal growth or happiness. He believed that true fulfillment comes from following one's intuition, even if it leads away from traditional paths. This philosophy aligns closely with the teachings of Stoicism, where the focus is on personal virtue and understanding what is within our control. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This emphasizes the importance of introspection and understanding our true desires, rather than being swayed by external pressures. Consider the story of the lone scientist who, unburdened by the responsibilities of marriage and parenthood, dedicated his entire being to his work, making groundbreaking contributions to humanity. His path, though unconventional, was immensely fulfilling and beneficial to society. Similarly, the tale of the Taoist sage who, when offered the throne, chose instead the simplicity of a riverside retreat, fishing rod in hand. His choice reflects the Stoic principle of understanding what truly matters, and not being swayed by external temptations of power or status. These stories and philosophies teach us a crucial lesson. Fulfillment and contribution to society do not necessarily stem from following a prescribed set of life milestones. Instead, they come from a deep understanding of oneself and the courage to follow one's intuition, even when it leads away from societal norms. It's about recognizing that the path to personal development and societal contribution is not one size fits all. It's a journey of self-discovery, where we learn to listen to our inner voice and have the courage to follow it wherever it may lead. In conclusion, whether you find yourself aligned with societal expectations or walking a different path, remember that both choices are valid. It's not about conforming or rebelling for the sake of it, but about understanding yourself and making choices that align with your true nature and purpose. As Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic philosopher, wisely stated, "He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe." This harmony is achieved not by following a predetermined path, but by listening to and trusting in your own intuition and judgment. Den. In a world where the pursuit of power, status, and material wealth often dictates the course of our lives, the sage stands as a beacon of wisdom, choosing peace over grandeur. This philosophy resonates deeply with the choices we face in modern life, particularly those imposed by societal norms. A high-paying career laden with responsibilities, where leaving the office before 10 p.m. becomes a rarity. Such a path promises esteem, status, and financial abundance, the hallmarks of conventional success. Yet there exists an alternative, one less trodden but equally valid. Opting out of this rat race doesn't grant us the conventional perks, but it spares us the accompanying stresses. This choice mirrors the decision to remain child-free, embracing the tranquility and freedom it offers. Picture the serene joy of sitting by a riverside, fishing rod in hand, unburdened by the relentless demands of parenting. This metaphor extends to other sauce til Schulze Such as Merrick, illustrating that the path less followed can be equally, if not more, fulfilling. Reflecting on the Stoic wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live," we find a powerful endorsement of this philosophy. It encourages us to question whether we are truly living or merely existing within the confines of societal expectations. The decision to embrace or reject these societal norms, marriage, children, a high-powered career, ultimately rests with us. Research increasingly suggests that alternative, non-conventional paths can offer profound fulfillment. In the modern context, this translates to a life where personal authenticity and individuality are valued over societal approval. So I pose the question to you. What do you prefer? Do you choose to adhere to societal conventions, or do you dare to walk an authentic individual path guided by your inner convictions and the timeless wisdom of Stoicism? The choice is yours, and in this decision lies the power to shape a life of true meaning and contentment. 11. What is the most desperate moment? It's when we lose ourselves. What is the hardest journey? It's the journey to find oneself again. What is the most memorable time? It's the years we get lost and then find our way back to the right path of our life. Life is just like that. There are doors that open, and from the beginning we know they are not the turns we should take, but still, we choose them, dive into them, and ultimately, failure is inevitable. But after those missteps, what we gain is more precious than anything. That is growth. Growing up is a journey filled with the flavors of youth, yet tinged with the sweet memories of childhood. Maturing is something truly wonderful when we finally realize many things and understand the value of endurance. It's like the saying, you don't know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. Only after we have passed a certain stage in life do we appreciate what we have encountered in the past. Returning to the concept of endurance, what is it for you that remains unchanged? 1. Home. How long has it been since you last visited home? Haven't had a bowl of sour soup made by your mother? Haven't sat down to play chess with your father? For many, home is a healing medicine, a warm and soothing place. But for others, peace is when you leave home. Just because it's called home doesn't mean it's a place to return to. Just because it's called a warm house doesn't mean it's happy. Home is the hardware, but understanding and love are the software. There are homes that are cold and painfully extreme. There are homes that are a part of childhood trauma. There are homes where you wake up to the sound of breaking and cursing with parents who are unusually cold. There are children who grow up with a needle deeply embedded in their soul, not because they are deprived or unfed, but because they have never been valued and shared. Therefore, a family cannot just be red bricks and concrete pillars. It must be built and developed from love and care. Each member must be a healthy cell, full of empathy, always ready to embrace, to turn that house into a place where, when you leave, you long to return. 12. 2. Value. We ourselves are inherent values. You may not be born smart, but you are always diligent and surpass yourself every day. You may not sing well, but you are never late. You may not be good at sports, but you have a warm smile. You may not have a beautiful face, but you are great at tying ties for your father and cooking delicious meals. Surely, each of us is born with inherent values. And you, more than anyone else, before anyone else, must know yourself and recognize these values. Stop comparing yourself to others, because we are born with inherent values. We are not like anyone else, and no one is like us. In the world, who doesn't have flaws? It's all about how we live with those flaws, whether we hide them with insecurity or improve them with confidence. It all depends on ourselves. Do you feel like you have something to be confident about now? Another girl has long legs, fair skin, a sweet voice, or a radiant face, so they have the right to be happy and shine. But confidence doesn't start with what others can recognize, like clothes, shoes, or talents. The most important thing comes from understanding oneself. No matter who you are, you always have certain values within you. Confidence is eroded by your own desires to shine. They may be swans, you may be a duck, and the issue is not about being a duck or a swan. Ducks have their value. Swans have their value. No one is superior or inferior, and don't be afraid of being less than someone else, but fear being like someone else. Someone may contribute to society with their business talent and sharp mind, but you can also beautify life with your enthusiasm and warmth. Simply happiness. What do we live for? Wealth? status, desires, ambitions, dreams. What do these things give us? Satisfaction of personal desires. In the end, we do everything just to feel happy. No matter who you are or what achievements you have, if you don't feel happy, then you haven't really succeeded. We trade everything just to have peace of mind at night. We strive all our lives just to live happily and peacefully in old age. In short, the destination of life is summed up in 2 words: happiness. Have you ever wondered why it is? Independence, freedom, happiness, and not prosperity or civilization. Perhaps happiness has always been a desire, always a goal to become a prosperous nation. Perhaps that is also why the country of Bhutan has been using the happiness index as a measure of the quality of life of its people for 3 decades. For a long time, we thought the word happiness sounded grand, but was incredibly empty, and we still don't know where happiness comes from. Countless people hold power and wealth, but have never felt at peace. But for many, a meal with the family is enough for them to feel happy. Happiness has a different definition for each person. For parents, it's seeing their children happy. Happiness is simply knowing enough and feeling that you are living the way you want. Happiness is not a private matter, but concerns many people. It would be heartbreaking if parents, teachers, friends saw us sad, crying. So keep striving, keep pushing forward, and you will feel fulfilled. Before loving someone else, you must feel loved. I wish you always face difficulties with a peaceful smile. 13. 3. Listening. How long has it been since we truly laughed with happiness, since we strolled the streets with a light and cool soul? We know that life will inevitably bring surprises, and risks are always lurking. But let's listen to ourselves to understand what we really need so that even if we fail in the future, it will be in pursuit of something we once wanted to do. Youth is like that. Stumbling is for standing up again. Failing is for eventual success. If it hurts too much, then cry. If you feel oppressed, then speak out. If you're angry, then let it explode. Don't stay silent and let your heart become heavy. Be proud and hold your head high. Face challenges with confidence. Don't bow down to difficulties. Live like a carefree bouquet of flowers, without sorrow. Keep learning to look back, learning to listen. Enjoy life, because who knows if we can still smile tomorrow. Enjoyment doesn't sink a person into a deep pit, nor does it lead them astray. If it does, then it's no longer enjoyment, but merely living in an illusion. True enjoyment isn't about destruction, but about building our own perfect empire, starting with preservation and protection. As we conclude today's journey on Stoic in Your Life, where we've explored the challenging yet liberating concept of walking away from societal expectations like marriage, children, and other perceived necessities, I invite you to reflect deeply on how these Stoic principles can resonate within your own life. Remember, the path of Stoicism isn't just about understanding theory, it's about transforming our lives through action and resilience. I encourage you to ponder on this. How can you apply today's insights to foster personal growth and happiness? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your journey towards a more Stoic life is not just about learning, it's about living. So, let's continue to grow together, embracing the wisdom of Stoicism in every step we take. Thank you for being part of this enlightening journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic in Your Life for more insights into living a life of virtue, resilience, and serenity.